Eleanor's breath came out in short, ragged gasps as she followed the pale, blind man deeper into the village's crumbling labyrinth. The fog clung to her skin like damp silk, chilling her to the bone despite the oppressive stillness of the air. Her eyes darted nervously at every shadow that flickered in the shifting mist, shadows that seemed to move just out of sync with the world. The man moved without hesitation, his long coat brushing against the overgrown weeds that clawed at the cracked cobblestones. Despite the thick fog, he never faltered, as if guided by something unseen. Eleanor struggled to keep pace, clutching the wooden talisman he had pressed into her palm. The small disk, etched with the spiral and jagged teeth, a symbol that seemed to pulse faintly with a warmth that defied the cold. "Where are you taking me?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, the blind man's footsteps echoed hollowly against the stone walls as he turned sharply down a narrow alley that twisted between dilapidated houses. The air here was heavier, thick with the scent of decay and something more metallic, like dried blood mingled with rust. "This place," he finally spoke, his voice dry and cracked like old parchment, "is a sanctuary and a prison both. The Hollow One watches, but his gaze can be fooled. For a time." Eleanor swallowed hard, the weight of the talisman suddenly heavier in her palm. "Who is the Hollow One?" she pressed. He paused. The fog seemed to pulse around them, a living thing breathing cold dread into her lungs. Long ago, before even the village was born, something was buried here, a darkness older than the trees, older than the stones. The Hollow One, a creature of shadows and whispers. His hunger is endless. He devours memories, names, even souls. The blind man stopped before a twisted iron gate, half buried in moss and thick ivy. Beyond it lay a garden tangled with weeds, and the skeletons of long-dead flowers. A shattered statue of a weeping angel lay fallen at the entrance, its face cracked and unrecognizable. "This gate leads to the chapel," the man said. "Once a place of prayer and refuge, now a prison for secrets." Eleanor hesitated before pushing the gate open. It groaned like a wounded animal, the sound swallowed instantly by the fog. Inside, the chapel was a shadow of its former self. Broken pews lay scattered, stained glass windows were cracked or missing entirely, and a thick layer of dust covered everything like a shroud. But despite the ruin, the place pulsed with an eerie life. Candles flickered in mid-air, their flames burning without heat or smoke. Whispers curled through the darkness, voices half-remembered and drowned in time. The blind man led her to the altar, where an ancient book lay open on a stone pedestal. The pages were yellowed and brittle, covered in ink faded to a ghostly gray. Eleanor approached cautiously, eyes scanning the strange symbols that crawled across the pages like living things. "The Book of Names," the man explained. "Each name written here binds a soul to the Hollow One. Once spoken aloud, they are lost forever." Eleanor's fingers trembled as she reached out to touch the fragile parchment. The moment her skin met the page, a chill shot through her body, and the whispers around her sharpened into a piercing hiss. Suddenly the chapel door slammed shut behind them with a violent crash. Eleanor spun around, heart pounding, but the blind man only raised his hand, calm and steady. "The Hollow watches," he said, "and he knows you are here." Panic clawed at Eleanor's throat. She scanned the shadows, desperate for any sign of the creature. Her eyes caught a flicker of movement near the broken, stained glass. A face, pale and gaunt, eyes black and hollow, stared back at her from the darkness. "Eleanor," it breathed. The whisper became a scream that echoed through her mind, drowning out everything else. She stumbled backward, clutching the talisman tight as the shadows stretched and twisted, forming shapes both human and monstrous. "Say the word," the blind man urged. "Say the word or lose yourself forever." Her voice broke as she whispered, "Listen." The word seemed to vibrate through the chapel, shaking dust from the rafters and stirring the fog outside into a violent swirl. The shadow creature recoiled, dissolving into mist, but the sense of danger lingered like a storm on the horizon. Eleanor sank to her knees, breathless and trembling. The book lay before her, the single word repeated endlessly on the pages, "Listen." Outside, the fog thickened, swallowing the chapel and the village whole. Outside the chapel, the fog rolled like a living sea, swallowing everything in a suffocating embrace. Eleanor sat on the cold stone steps, her mind racing. The talisman lay heavy in her hand, the spiral symbol glowing faintly, as if alive. She didn't know how long she stayed there, the silence broken only by distant, mournful howls, and the steady drip of water from the broken roof. The village felt like a place caught between worlds, a memory fading from reality, but never quite gone. When she finally stood, the blind man was gone. Only a faint imprint remained on the dust-covered ground, a circle of ash, scorched into the earth. Eleanor rose, feeling the weight of the village's secrets pressing down on her. She knew this was only the beginning. The Hollow One's hunger was far from sated, and the whispers in the fog promised more horrors yet to come. She looked down the narrow street, fog curling around broken signs and shuttered windows, and took a step forward. The village was waiting.